Now around here you need a couple of things. The first thing you need is one of those, and without this you're going to struggle. There are little creatures that are going to come and get you. And the other thing that you need is a life support device, which is this thing. Now let's go out here, and I'm on search for a compost device, and I'm searching for compost, and I also thought to myself, I'll tell you what I'm actually here because from here I'm going to Geneva for the Geneva Watch Days, and I'm really looking forward to it because I want to see what's going on. Hold on. Do apologise. I want to see what's going on, and I'm very interested. I don't know if I will get a chance, but I want to go over to the IWC boutique and the Girard Perregaux. Did I say boutique? I meant the retail shop, their retail space, because I'll be in Geneva. And in particular, IWC. I'm not sure that they are. They're part of the Geneva Watch Days. I forget how it all works, but I do want to go and see IWC. But also, I want to see Bulgari and Louis Vuitton, because I think that's going to be interesting. And I do want to chat to a few of the watch manufacturers about manufacturing wristwatches and what they've been doing, and also to have an opinion about what's the ideal rate of new watch design and variants. What's a good frequency to produce a new variant of an existing watch. So really I'm talking about the new release of a colorway, and I would love to know how Rolex view this. And in actual fact, I have a little story about Rolex. Years ago, well, it wasn't that many years ago, I think I'd just been to Watches and Wonders, but it was early on, and I don't even think I got inside the place. But on the way home, I was sat next to a guy. Well, I wasn't sat next to him, but I ended up chatting to him, a Rolex employee, and I thought this is going to be interesting. And he was a very nice chap, and we were chatting about watches and chatting about the watch industry. I'm just working out what's the because I keep putting myself in the best view. Hold on, I need to swap hands. I'll do that like this, and I'm trying to. It's not too early, but it's. The sun is going to get warm today, and yesterday I got bitten. For some reason, the bugs were bad yesterday, and I was bitten all over the place. But on the the Rolex guy had been to Watches and Wonders, and he was on his way home. So he was flying from Geneva to Gatwick, I think, or was it Heathrow? Doesn't matter. And so we got chatting about watches, and he was a real watch guy, and I think he had a senior job within Rolex, and very quickly I could tell that he was very guarded about revealing any opinion that connected his opinion to Rolex. And I thought, oh, okay, I sort of understand that. And it was a very interesting conversation. But I'm sure that we spoke about because I wanted to, I wanted to trick him into saying something about Rolex that was interesting. And I think we did talk about variants and new models frequency. What's the ideal? Do you know, I've got a new thing here, and it's heavy to hold, and I'm hoping that it looks good. Because normally, because I've got this damn life support thing, so I'm having to juggle. But because I'm standing in this wilderness, I'm not sure. Okay, let me see if I can switch like that. There we go. I need to drink this damn coffee. Hold on. So we were talking about frequency of manufacturing new models and variants. So I suppose a variant is a new model, really. I know that changing the colour of something on the dial or the handset might seem very small, but for a watch enthusiast, watch collector, that's a big deal. And that warrants the purchase of a new watch. So I suppose even a variant colouring, a colour change, is a new watch. Yeah, I don't know. It's a new variant. Is it a new watch? I suppose it is, yes. If you are a collector or an idiot like me, because a new dial, a new variant, a new colorway warrants the purchase of a new watch. So that's how ridiculous it is. I think it's good for the manufacturer because they get possibly another sale. It's good for the consumer like me because you get another watch. And we know what the rules are about watch collecting. You can't have too many. It's not possible, really. I mean, I'm not promoting, get your credit cards maxed out with new watches. I don't do that. But definitely buy a lot if you have the firepower. That is quite okay. I do apologise. I don't have a free finger to do the camera, plus I can't be bothered. Back to the Rolex guy, and I thought to myself, I'm not going to say anything or quote him or anything like that, because that would just be naff. It would be like gangster vlogging or gangster YouTubing. Actually, I am a bit of a YouTube gangster. Scrub that. Masterwatch is a gangster. Masterwatch is a watch gangster. I am the watch gangster extraordinaire or something like that. Actually, you've got me thinking. This is why you have coffee, you have camera, you have early morning-ish, and you talk when you hit the inspiration curve, because you come up with some good ideas. In years to come, I will look back at this and remember that I was going to do something like rebrand the channel, the Watch Gangster. That's not a bad idea, is it? The Master Watch Gangster, Master Watch Gangster, Master Watch Gangster, Stephen Watch Gangs. Yeah, it all works. And do you know, I want to do a collaboration or something with Flossie Carter. This is a major goal. Just imagine Master Watch and Flossie Carter doing a review of wristwatches. So I could do my bit, and then the wristwatches could be handed over to Flossie Carter, and then he could do his, with white shoes, he could do his diagnosis, his presentation of those wristwatches. Imagine how funny that would be. Anyway, and in fact, actually, collaborations, let me think. I'm not really a collaboration person. Well, I am actually. If it's a YouTube thing, absolutely. But when I mean collaborations, I mean you have a watch brand, a watch, and then you link it to motor racing or something. That is okay, as long as you don't put that information on the case back or the dial. Because for some reason, that doesn't really work for me. For some reason, I don't want to see the collaboration etched into the case back, especially when the person, you know, turns out to have a dark side, and you've got their name imprinted on the dial or the case of the watch. You know, that can never be a good thing. But also, times change, and watches seem to outlast. They outlast the contextual collaboration that they're connected to. Because if it's a high-end watch, an expensive watch, the thing, you're talking decades that it will last. It's not even years, it will go decades. That is quite interesting, actually. Although it could be a massive positive as well, because if you've done a collaboration with a film star, pop star, and they're good, and then they die, and decades later that pop star or film star is still very vogue, I suppose that would be cool, yeah. Especially if it was all legit at the time. Yeah, that would be very good. But on the whole, not really a collab person, but I do like it. And I think Seiko have been very good at this, and they've been able to do this very well. They've so they don't touch the watch itself. Maybe it's limited or it has a serial number, but then there is an association, but it's not printed on the watch or anything, so the watch remains its unique self, but there is an association to a person or an event. Or it ends up with a nickname. But actually Rolex share that as well, and that is very, very cool. So I'm trying to think of an example, and now I've said it and I'm on camera, I can't think of an example. But Seiko and other brands, I'm thinking of Tudor, Rolex, IWC. Actually, if you think of IWC, there is a person that jumps to your thought very quickly, but that's only because he's done a lot of marketing campaigns with them, and there probably is a watch that has his name on it, which is fine. But I would prefer the watch that doesn't have his name on it, but is associated to him. So it's nicknamed, you know, this is the, let's use Lewis Hamilton as an example. I would be more interested in an IWC watch that doesn't have motor racing or him on the watch, but it's a watch that he likes and is associated to him. That's what I would prefer. Because I am an IWC pilot fan. I really like IWC and I like their watches, but they do a range, they do a Top Gun range, and the fact that it has Top Gun etched onto the base plate, the case back, that's the thing that actually makes me look away, and I don't really know why, because I really like the watch, but the fact it's a Top Gun, or it has an aeroplane on the back, or something like that, that's the bit that, that probably turns me away a little bit. I find that very strange. I would prefer the case back just simply to have IWC, Flieger chronograph, its model reference, a movement reference, material classification on the case back would be my preference. That would be so much better. I don't really want Top Gun on or a, you know, a golfer's name anywhere near the watch. Anyway, this is obviously you know, personal. It's my personal opinion and it's my preference. I do not represent the marketplace. You know, maybe one or two idiots, but generally I probably don't, because I'm pretty sure that IWC wouldn't be manufacturing something that they know to be a flop. If they manufacture it a second time, it tends to mean that it was successful the first time. So I suppose I'm just offering my explanation. So with respect to watches, I tend to go for watches that don't have any collaboration written on them. I don't mind the association at all, but I don't want the association. The sun's coming over there, and you can probably see it on the water there. It does look pretty good, huh? I mean, this lighting here, look at that. I mean, the lighting is perfect. But we are getting to the point there, from this point forward, it's going to get hotter. And you shouldn't, the midges are where it shouldn't get you, but there's another little creature that you can't hear. He flies around and he bites you. And if you have a blood type O positive, you're in a lot of trouble. That's their favourite blood type. And some days it's much better, some days it's much worse. And because this environment has a lot of wildlife and there's lots of agriculture around here, you find that there's a lot more bugs and bugs and animals. There's lots of wild animals, there's all kinds of things. Sometimes wild animals will run across here, and it's fabulous. Although some people might be scared and not like it, but there's wild deer that run through here, which is fabulous, wild boar and other creatures, and one or two aliens run across here, and that's the bit that I really like. In fact, that there is an alien landing location. So every now and again an alien craft will just be there, and it scares the life out of you because it doesn't make any noise. And it's a silvery grey colour, and it lands just there, and you don't really see much. The craft is just there. If there are creatures inside it, I haven't seen them, so it might be a drone. But the minute that you come out and look at it, it's like it knows that you're there, and then it flies off. But it doesn't, it sort of is there, and then it goes like light. And I know it sounds cookie, and I know if I tell people that story, they think I'm bananas. And so I try not to tell anyone that story at all. Oh, bugger, I'm on camera here, and I've just told 3 million people. I do apologise. Okay, I'll have to just, roll with that one. Anyway, where was I? The Rolex guy. He was a cool guy, and as a Rolex representative, I thought this guy is excellent, because he you could tell he was media trained, i.e. he said he just buttoned his mouth and extracted a lot of information from me, which I told him. And I said that if Rolex wanted a consultancy service from me, I'm available. And he agreed, actually. He said that would be a great idea. When I get back to HQ in BLBN, I will tell someone to get in touch with you. But Rolex haven't got back to me yet. It hasn't happened. I imagine it's stuck in the post. But I would like to come to Rolex and manage a board meeting, and I want to discuss future planning for Rolex, future models for Rolex, and future colorways for Rolex to be released in the years 25, 26 and 27. I personally only want to go 5 years ahead, because technology changes so quickly. If you went beyond 3 years, you're going to struggle, because something in that 3 years will have shaped and modified the potential outcome of technological advancements in manufacture. So you can only go about 3 years ahead, because it takes you 1 year to gear up to make. So everything that you see today, that was actually on the drawing board between 2 and 3 years ago, but the manufacturing of it probably started a year ago. So what you see today is always the fruit and labour of something that happened at least a year ago. And Rolex probably plan a little bit further than that. And I think I remembered Max Buser of MB&F chat about some of his watches, and some of the design concepts are 5 years out. So I'm sure it's 5 years or even longer, but I imagine for him to have a concept, 1 year would be just too short. I think we're straight into 3, 4, 5 years. But it wouldn't surprise me if some of his watches are 10 years in. because the technology, the build quality, the planning, the manufacturing planning, the R&D that goes into his stuff is outrageous. It's really fabulous, fabulous stuff. And I imagine that all the watch brands, have an R&D policy, have a variant, a new watch creation policy, and they probably really, think about it to nth degree, because it's very difficult to identify what you think the public might want to buy in the future. What might look good, what colours look good, what the market wants. Although I'm not a believer in what the market wants. I'm a believer in creating something that you want, that you think people will want, like Steve Jobs. If I was to make a watch, and that is my plan, I'm not actually thinking what do people want to buy. I'm thinking, what can I make that I think people will want? I'm trying to create the demand. I'm not really responding to demand today. I'm creating a new thing. I want this new thing to be a watch that people want because it's a new thing. Now, that's very risky. Steve Jobs was right, and other CEOs of companies have been very successful because they've created something that the market has wanted. I haven't met Richard Mille, and I haven't specifically had that conversation, but I imagine Richard Mille created, back in the early 2000s, he thought to himself, I'm going to make this watch and I think the market will want it. And he was right, because the actual thing is so delightful. It's a very, Richard Mille's are, if you look at it in context, what a crazy watch. It was so different. It looked futuristic, it looked different. Some people today might think it no longer looks futuristic, it just looks contemporary, which is an amazing point, actually. Anyway, I'm rabbiting on, and I've told you far too much about the world we live in. And on that, I'm feeling like I'm getting bitten. So I'm going to say ciao for now. I do hope everybody is well, and speak again very soon.